Imagine a world that is not what it seems. A world that hides a secret, a mystery, an alternate reality. A world that has been shaped not only by the forces of nature, but also by the forces of history. A world that has been covered up, forgotten, and erased. A world that is waiting to be discovered, to be explored, and to be understood. This is the world that we are going to explore today. A world that asks the question, is it possible that mud floods shaped our world as we know it today, and what were the specific events that may have caused them? A question that may sound strange at first, but a question that may have truth, evidence, and implications. So join us as we embark on a journey through history, science, and mystery to find out if mud floods occurred during major historical cataclysms. A reality that may challenge our assumptions, our beliefs, and our vision of the world. Today, we are going to explore 4 major events that have left a mark on the world. Events that have caused destruction, death, and mystery. From an earthquake that shook an entire city, to a flood that submerged a metropolis, to a blast that flattened a forest, to an eruption that darkened the skies. These events have challenged our understanding of nature, of science, of history, and of ourselves. So let's get started. On the morning of November 1st, 1755, the people of Lisbon, Portugal, were celebrating All Saints' Day, a religious holiday. The city was bustling with crowds of locals and visitors, attending Mass, buying goods, and enjoying the sunny weather. Suddenly, without warning, the earth shook violently, as if it had opened. Buildings crumbled, streets cracked, and people fell to the ground. The quake lasted for several minutes, causing panic, chaos, and despair. The Lisbon earthquake was one of the strongest earthquakes ever recorded in Europe, estimated to be between 8.5 and 9.0 magnitude on the Richter scale. It was felt as far away as Morocco, Ireland, and Sweden. But what made the Lisbon earthquake even more devastating was its aftermath. As the city was trying to recover from the initial shock, 2 more disasters struck: fires and tsunamis. The fires broke out in several places, fed by the broken gas lines, the dry weather, and the chaos. They spread rapidly, consuming entire blocks and trapping people inside. The firefighters were helpless as the water supply was cut off and the streets were blocked. The fires raged for 3 days, adding to the death toll and the destruction. The tsunamis were caused by the displacement of the water in the Tagus River, which flows through Lisbon. The first wave hit the city about 40 minutes after the earthquake, catching many people off guard. The wave was about 20 feet high, and it flooded the lower parts of the city, dragging people and debris with it. The second and third waves came shortly after, adding to the carnage. The tsunamis affected not only Lisbon, but also the coastal areas of Portugal, Spain, and North Africa. The Lisbon earthquake of 1755 was a wake-up call for the world, a reminder that nature can be cruel and unpredictable. It killed an estimated 50,000 people in Lisbon alone, and it caused significant damage to the city's infrastructure, culture, and spirit. It also sparked debates and inquiries about the nature of earthquakes, the role of religion, and the limits of human knowledge. Let us fast forward to another disaster, one that happened in the United States, one that was caused not by an earthquake, but by a flood. A flood that was so massive, so relentless, and so destructive that it changed the course of a river and the fate of a city. The flood that is known as the Great Flood of 1858. Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania in the mid-19th century was a thriving industrial hub powered by coal, iron, and steel. It was also located at the confluence of 3 rivers, the Allegheny, the Monongahela, and the Ohio. The rivers were the lifeline of the city, providing transportation, energy, and recreation. But they were also the source of the city's vulnerability. In 1858, a series of heavy rainstorms combined with the melting of the snow in the mountains caused the rivers to rise rapidly until they overflowed their banks. The Great Flood of 1858 was a slow-motion disaster, unfolding over several days as the water kept rising, inundating the streets, the buildings, and the factories. The floodwaters were not only deep but also filthy, carrying debris, sewage, and dead animals. The flood made it impossible to move around the city, to work, or to live. The flood also made it impossible to ignore the consequences of human activity on the environment, on the climate, and on the economy. The Great Flood of 1858 was a turning point for Pittsburgh and for the nation, as it highlighted the need for better infrastructure, regulation, and planning. It also inspired the creation of the United States Army Corps of Engineers, whose mission was to protect the nation's water resources and prevent disasters like the Great Flood of 1858 from happening again. But is there more to the story than we are being told? Is it possible that this was one of the major events that submerged the main floor of so many buildings we find in the realm? Was this a contributing event to the mudflood theory? Let us shift gears now and go to a different part of the world, a remote area of Siberia, where a cosmic event occurred that still puzzles scientists and historians to this day. The event that is known as the Tunguska Event of 1908. On the morning of June 30th, 1908, a massive explosion rocked the Tunguska forest in central Siberia with the force of a nuclear bomb. The explosion was heard hundreds of miles away, and it lit up the sky as if it was daylight. The explosion flattened millions of trees over an area of about 800 square miles and caused shockwaves that knocked people off their feet. The explosion also triggered a series of atmospheric phenomena such as fireballs, thunderstorms, and auroras. Were these meteoric storms a potential cause of great fires or great disasters across the realm? Did these events cause massive flooding in surrounding areas? The Tunguska Event of 1908 was a mystery that baffled scientists, as there was no clear explanation for its cause. Some speculated that it was a meteorite or a comet that had exploded in the atmosphere. Others thought it was a volcanic eruption or a military experiment, but no one knew for sure, as the area was so remote and inhospitable that it took several years before any scientific expedition could reach it. The Tunguska Event of 1908 remained a mystery for decades, until the scientific expeditions of the 1920s and 1930s, which collected samples of the debris and analyzed them. The analysis showed that the debris contained high levels of iridium, a rare element that is found in extraterrestrial objects such as meteorites and comets. This discovery supported the theory that the Tunguska event was caused by a comet or asteroid that had exploded in the atmosphere, creating a shock wave that flattened the forest and caused the other phenomena. The Tunguska Event of 1908 remains a fascinating case study for scientists and historians, as it raises questions about the nature of the universe, the risks of cosmic events, and the impact of such events on Earth. It also reminds us of the fragility of our planet and the importance of understanding and protecting it. The final event takes us to a tropical paradise, a place of beauty and danger, where a volcano erupted with such force that it changed the climate of the world and the course of history. The volcano that is known as Mount Tambora in Indonesia, and the eruption that happened in 1815. Mount Tambora, before the eruption, was a majestic mountain, towering over the islands of Sumbawa and Lombok, with lush forests, fertile soils, and diverse wildlife. The people who lived near the mountain, the Sasak and the Dampu, relied on it for their livelihoods, as it provided them with water, land, and minerals. But they also knew that the mountain was capable of great violence, as it had erupted before, in 1812, and caused some damage. The eruption of Mount Tambora in 1815 was a cataclysmic event, one of the largest and most destructive eruptions in recorded history. The eruption spewed out massive amounts of ash, gas, and rock into the atmosphere, creating a volcanic winter that lasted for several years. The eruption also caused tsunamis, mudflows, and earthquakes that affected not only the islands of Sumbawa and Lombok, but also the entire region, and even the globe. The eruption of Mount Tambora in 1815 had far-reaching consequences, both immediate and long-term. It killed an estimated 10,000 people directly and many more indirectly through famine, disease, and displacement. It also disrupted the climate of the world, causing a year without a summer in 1816, which led to crop failures, famines, and social unrest in Europe and North America. The eruption of Mount Tambora in 1815 is a warning sign for the future, as it reminds us of the power of nature and the need to prepare for and mitigate the risks of natural disasters. It also highlights the importance of volcanology, the study of volcanoes, and the role of science in understanding and predicting such events. Today, Mount Tambora is a tourist destination and a site of scientific research, as it continues to inspire and challenge us with its beauty and danger. And so, we come to the end of our journey through 4 major events that affected the world. Events that challenged our understanding, our resilience, and our imagination. We have seen how an earthquake can shake a city, how a flood can submerge a metropolis, how a cosmic event can flatten a forest, and how a volcano can darken the skies. We have witnessed the power of nature, the impact of human activity, and the limits of our knowledge. But we have also seen the courage of people, the ingenuity of science, and the hope of progress. Stay tuned for more next time. If you like this video, hit the thumbs up icon. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell icon to get notifications for new videos.